Welcome to the Benchwarmers podcast. I am Casey Coggins here with Alvin Hebert.
We here.
And Andrew Lara.
Thank God Nike doesn't produce condoms. I think it ripped.
Man, they need to go back to Adidas. I don't know who would ever wear Nike, but I know I sure don't.
The real ballers.
No, the real ballers wear Big Baller brand. Come on, we need to stay with the trends here.
Those are the big ballers. If you can't afford $500 shoes, you ain't a real baller.
Well, hell no, I ain't. Fuck off, all right? But, you know, another busy week in the sports realm. We had some, we're closing in on playoffs for football. Starting to get to see the real teams in the NBA, I think. Cleveland started turning it around. LeBron playing out of his mind.
Called it.
The Warriors are, still warrioring.
Not so much fighting.
Boston looks amazing. And there's just regular NBA grind kind of stuff. As far as, we're 20 games, 18 games, 15 to 18 games
roughly
into the season. But I want to focus this week a little bit on football, focus on the NFL. I wanted to break it down into conferences, and I wanted to start by talking NFC. Because it kind of looks at this moment in time that there are three teams that are slightly above the rest of the conference and are well on their way to representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. Starting with the Saints, who is a favorite team in this house. So we watch all of their game, and they kind of got, I can't say they got handed that game, but it was a typical take your foot off the gas pedal and allow a team back into the game, because the Saints were down 15 with like 4 minutes left, and they held Washington to 2 3-and-outs. Drew Brees went 11 of 11. Alvin Kamara tips the ball into the air around 4 Washington defenders, catches it, breaks a tackle, and walks into the end zone. Like, these types of things should not happen when you're up 15 with 4 minutes left in the game, and then you lose in overtime because you even received the ball, but you can't move the ball. And they handed the Saints that game, and that would probably change the story of this week of us talking about them.
The Saints needed that type of window.
Yeah, they definitely did. Their running game is looking really strong, and that's the type of game that you need to win in the playoffs.
You wouldn't expect it to happen after they get rid of Adrian Peterson.
Well, the Adrian Peterson thing was supposed to strengthen their running game as far as them actually focusing on it, but then they were quick to realize that they had too many good backs in the backfield, and they couldn't spread, you couldn't spread the wealth, and to get these running backs into a rhythm, you have to play them consistently. So you'll see the Saints go with Mark Ingram for 4 or 5 straight plays, and then go Alvin Kamara. No team in the history of the NFL, other than maybe the Patriots, runs a 3-back system, and the Patriots don't run the ball. They can't run the ball. They pass to run the ball, so they use their backs as more of pass catchers out of the backfield than they do as actually running backs.
Well, that's why the whole Adrian Peterson signing was pretty weird, because he's not Alvin Kamara, Reggie Bush, or Darren Sproles. He's not that.
No,
pass,
not at all.
Pass down back.
He's more of like Adrian Peterson type back.
Jim Brown.
Just gonna like truck you over, like put me in between the tackles like Mark Ingram is.
Yeah, and
you got two of the same players.
You need to take the snap under center, run I form, strong eye, weak eye, something like that, and just run the ball between the tackles with him. And when they signed him, I thought, well, this is a good sign for the Saints because it's okay. Well, Drew Brees is getting up there in age. Like, we need to try to run the ball to allow him to have less pressure. We can start controlling the clock and all the stuff that comes with the run game. So it showed a sign that they were going to focus on running the ball. And then they, like I said, realized that this didn't work the way we wanted it to. Alvin Kamara is really good. Sean Payton was quoted saying that the only thing holding Alvin Kamara back from winning Rookie of the Year is me, because he substitutes him out with Ingram and kind of holds him back a little bit as far as numbers go.
Well, Adrian Peterson was only there for 2 weeks?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they shipped him out. I don't even think they even gave Adrian Peterson a chance in New Orleans.
Well, I think it was a lot. It was a lot that they didn't give him a chance, but I think they realized that they couldn't give him a chance because the way that he runs the ball isn't the way that Sean Payton coaches offense. Like, his offensive scheme. You look at when they won the Super Bowl back in, I think, 2010. The running backs there, you had kind of slashers. Like, Mark Ingram can run between the tackles, but he also catches the ball and he can run outside the tackles pretty well. In Alvin Kamara, I think Darren Sproles was on that Super Bowl team, and I can't think of the other lead back on that roster, but that's how they like running the ball. And Adrian Peterson just isn't that. He's not the guy that's going to bust outside the tackles, like run off tackles. Like, most of his carries, he's going to try to run in between the center and the guard, and so I think Sean Payton brought him in, went through training camp, preseason, the first couple games, trying to see how he would fit and what kind of things he needed to do to get this running game to work. Realized I have a very talented back in Alvin Kamara. Both of them can do certain things on offense, and I don't think it's a coincidence that once they got rid of Adrian Peterson and they realized what they needed to focus on offensively, they haven't lost a game, and their defense has been huge. They gave up some yards and points to Washington. They had some busted coverage. Marshawn Lattimore, who...
He's the rookie cornerback that they drafted, right?
Yep, in the first round. He got hurt in the game, and so that was part of the reason is he left the game in the second quarter. I think they have probably... I think they have the best shot out of the other two teams we're about to discuss to make the Super Bowl. In getting into those two teams, Minnesota. I don't know which games y'all watched this week. I didn't watch a lot of the Minnesota game. I would check in from time to time, and every single time I checked in, the Rams just could not do anything against that defense.
Minnesota always had a legit defense. It's just the offense that was.
It's always been suspect because you never know which quarterback's gonna be playing what year.
Yeah.
Their quarterbacks the past 3-4 years of someone tears something.
Yeah. Bridgewater. Well, Sam Bradford was healthy last season, and he set the record for highest completion percentage in the season. And then the year before was Teddy Bridgewater was healthy, but their offense has always kind of been their downfall. And Case Keenum is a gamer. He's one of the top college quarterbacks of all time stat wise.
He's showing out this past 2 weeks.
And he's been playing well. Latavius Murray has found himself a rhythm, and I know it probably took him longer than people wanted it to because he got signed from Oakland, and Dalvin Cook was their main back for the first couple weeks and then got hurt.
Well, Murray didn't even touch the ball when they had Dalvin Cook running.
Yeah, so it took him a while to really get in the swing of things, and it looks like he's a lot more comfortable in the offense now. I think they have Jerick McKinnon still as their change of pace back. So offensively, similar to the Saints, they have a two back system with a back that is a lot shiftier and a back that's more of a power back, even though they can both catch the ball and they both have the versatility. And defensively, the Vikings definitely have the edge over the Saints. For me, it comes down to the fact that one of these teams has Drew Brees.
That's a big factor.
Big factor.
And the other factor is that, Sean Payton might not be the greatest head coach in the world, but he's one of the best offensive minds in the world. And when it comes down to running a play to win the game, like if it's 4th and 2 from the 5-yard line, I trust that the Saints are going to score a touchdown. And that's no slight to Pete Carroll and the Seahawks. But there are a lot of times where you, like last night watching the Seattle game, towards the end of that game, I think they needed a touchdown, and they threw a fade to Jimmy Graham, and fades don't work in the NFL anymore. Like, fades work maybe like 1 out of 5 times, I'd say. And if you only have 4 downs to score a touchdown, I don't want one of those 5 or like one of those chances to be a fade. I want it to be a back shoulder throw, maybe the little rub route, which they ended up scoring on. They rolled Russell Wilson out, had a little rub route going right, and it opened up that Russell Wilson could scramble in. Like, that's the type of play you go with, and that's the type of play that Sean Payton will run, and he knows when to run it. But I think in the end, it's the Vikings-Saints kind of debate is an interesting one. And like the next team that I'm about to bring up too, like all 3 of these teams are just playing incredible defense. They're running the ball really well. They're taking their shots when they have them. Like, they're just playing. I think they're playing just outstanding football, and that's why they're the class of the NFC right now. Because the Eagles, who did they play this past week and dominated? That's right, Andrew.
I don't remember that one.
No, you didn't watch that one at all?
Nah, I didn't watch anything.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought they had a bye week.
I don't know. Surely they weren't there.
I mean, there was a team in Dallas that was playing football, and it wasn't the home team. The Eagles, really in the second half, just took the game over. I don't know what happened. I was doing homework, and so I had the game muted on the back, and I would turn. It seemed like every time I turned to look and see what was going on, the Eagles had scored another touchdown, and it was ugly. The Cowboys defense just
did not show up in that second half for sure.
Got ran over. Like, I don't think Carson Wentz threw the ball very like for many yards. I think he threw maybe 250. But Jay Ajayi had that 71-yard run.
Yep.
Right up the tackle, like right up the middle. Like, wasn't touched.
Yeah, it was like watching a college game. Like, you see the running back just go up the middle and touch.
It was like Alabama versus Mercer. And offensively, Jason Garrett and Scott Linehan and whoever is coaching that offense has to do a better job to put them in positions to succeed.
No one's making the adjustments.
Yeah,
not even on defense. Nobody's making adjustments.
It's like okay, well, we're gonna call the same exact game as if we had Ezekiel Elliott and Tyron Smith.
You don't got them.
Like, that's not how it works. Like, you have to adjust to the personnel you have. And, going forward, we're gonna do the once a month thing, talking about doing a GM kind of position and saying we take over a team and what we would do as the GM of that team. And like, as a GM, looking at your coaching and understanding your coaching strengths and weaknesses is just as important as knowing your players' strengths and weaknesses. Because the Eagles took advantage of the fact that the Cowboys didn't adjust. So they took what was going on in the first half and said, all right, well, this is what we're going to do in the second half. And the Cowboys were like, we're going to continue to do the same thing in the first half, which worked in the first half, but then they started getting ran over.
It's weird. There's no, adaptability. Like, when they lost to Denver super bad,
yeah,
they didn't stick to the game plan. And then now when they lose to the Eagles super bad, they stick to the game plan and they're not changing.
Yeah,
to the fact that
it goes to, and I don't want to get too far off the Eagles because I wanted to focus on how well they've been playing. But you look at last week, and this is just to line up the coaching talk. Like, Adrian Claiborne torched Chaz Green, whatever his name is, the left tackle that got turned around about 1,500 times in that game. And they never put Jason Witten over there to double team.
Yeah,
they never had a running back.
Yeah.
They never chipped him. They never slid the line to.
This is the same argument that we had last week, where there's just no adjustments.
Yeah,
you can throw anybody in there and it'll help.
But it's basic adjustments that a team should make.
It's like, so take these top teams, and it's like, okay, well, Des Bryant isn't getting open downfield. Maybe we need to run certain plays to try to help him get open. And we've talked about Des Bryant on this before, and I've been very vocal about the lack of development that Des Bryant has shown. And as great of a player, as an athlete he is, he doesn't run routes. He doesn't look interested in running routes. Bryce Butler, he never really developed. Their best route runner is Cole Beasley, and where has he been the last couple weeks?
They're not running routes for him.
They're not. It goes to the coaching staff. You know your team, and when you have Zeke and you have Tyron Smith and you're able to run the ball and get into play action, you can stick to the game plan that you know works. But at some point you have to be like, okay, well, we can't run Alfred Morris like we run Zeke, and we can't just sit in shotgun and let Dak throw the ball 50 times. We know neither of those work. So what do we do from there? But back to the Eagles, Doug Peterson has that team clicking. Fletcher Cox is a monster on the defensive line.
Of course.
The defense in general has been tough to score on, tough to move the ball on, opportunistic.
And they're getting a couple pieces back just in time for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Offensively, I'm skeptical of the Eagles, and I've told y'all that, and I think we all agree that the Eagles are
fool's gold.
Are what, 9-1 now?
Yeah. But they got the teams that they've been playing.
Yeah, it's clean schedule.
They're 9-1's 9-1 in the NFL.
But at the same time, their schedule's not going to get any harder.
But yeah, so they opened at Washington and beat Washington, who's a decent team. Their one loss is to Kansas City when Kansas City was flying high. They beat the Giants. They beat the Chargers because the Chargers missed a field goal at the end. They only beat the Giants because Jake Elliott hit that 61-yarder. They blew out Arizona, and I think that was the game that Carson Palmer got hurt. Mm-hmm. And the Cardinals are kind of wishy-washy already offensively. They haven't been. Larry Fitzgerald has just been outstanding.
It's been Fitzgerald and Palmer or bust.
They went to Carolina and beat Carolina in week 6, and this was before I think Carolina really figured things out.
That was when Cam Newton was on his moose swings.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Then they beat Washington again, and I don't think Washington's a great team. And I think that might have been the time that they were out without Josh Norman. I think he might have been hurt that game, so even their defense wasn't as good. They blew out San Francisco, and we already know how bad San Francisco is. They blew out Denver. We've seen recently how bad Denver is. I think Denver the next week gave up 50 points to the Rams. Is that who they played?
The Rams, yeah.
Yeah.
They gave up like 51 points back-to-back weeks. And then they beat Dallas without Tyron Smith, Zeke, and Sean Lee, and the Cowboys already just kind of going into a tailspin. So, to me, the one game that sticks out is the Carolina game that they went to Carolina and beat. Because Carolina's 7-3 now. And they've started to really play better as of late. So week 6, Carolina had lost to Philadelphia, but then in the next week they lose to Chicago. So like that shows you kind of where Carolina was at as far as the season goes. Since then they've won 3 in a row.
And that was after trading away Kelvin Benjamin.
Yep.
They started winning.
Yeah, so I try to like talk myself up on the Eagles because they're the best team in football record wise, but then I'm like, what? They haven't played anybody. I don't know if I can trust LeGarrette Blount, and Corey Clement and Jay Ajayi. I don't know. I don't need Nelson Aguilar. I don't know if I can trust him. They have Alshon Jeffrey too.
And he hasn't been playing like when he was in Chicago.
Yeah, but I think he's been banged up, and so and Zach Ertz, I know has kind of been hurt a few weeks here and there, but Carson Wentz has had some amazing games. He's had some mediocre games and their defense has been really good. But I don't know if they get to the playoffs, and let's say they play Atlanta. If Atlanta sneaks into the playoffs as the 6th seed and wins, they play the 1 seed, which would be the Eagles right now. I think Atlanta beats the Eagles.
Or even if they play like the Vikings, who have a real solid defense. The Rams that have a real solid defense. The
Saints who have a solid offense and can run the ball, that can control the clock. There are a lot. I think there are more teams below the Eagles that can beat them than a 9-1 record usually yields. Because normally if the team's 9-1, you're like, oh yeah, they're definitely the favorites to make it to the Super Bowl. But I would put the Saints and Vikings above them, and I would honestly probably put Carolina and Atlanta above them too. The one team that's in the playoff hunt that I would not put above them is Detroit, and it pains me to say.
What? The not so homer pick?
Hey, I try to not be a homer.
The stars have aligned.
There are some times
you try not to be too much of a homer. We'll say that.
I really try not to be a homer at all. There are times where I actually like the Cubs pick. It was the Cubs winning the World Series. That was more of a playing up the role of a homer than me actually believing that they would win. And I had reason. You have reason to believe that the Cubs could have won the World Series. So like if I'm the fan of the Dallas Mavericks right now, like I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna beat the Warriors. Oh yeah, we're gonna beat Boston. Like, I understand the capabilities of my team, and that's why I say like the Lions, they're the one team in the playoff hunt that I probably wouldn't favor in a game against the Eagles.
If I was anybody in the NFC, I would not want to play the Vikings because that defense They only had like 3 games where a team has scored like 24 points or more.
Yeah.
And all the rest, they've been under 20 points or less. And one game that they lost was to your Lions, and it was a 14-7 game.
Yeah.
Like, I would not want to play that defense when it comes to playoffs.
No, definitely. And I mean, they played the Saints opening week, and they just obliterated the Saints. But I think that was before the Saints started 0-2. And that was before the Saints, again, like I said earlier, they figured out who they are and what their capabilities are. I think the Eagles are a fake 9-1 team.
Yep, fool's gold.
I could agree with that.
It would not surprise me one bit to see them.
They're that gold that you see at the mall in the little kiosks in the middle.
They say it's like real 14 karat.
The little Indian lady saying, "It's plated. It's plated."
Take a shower with it.
We all know it's stainless steel on the inside.
Turn green when you take a shower with it.
Going down the stretch, like, man, the Eagles' schedule is weak.
Yep.
Like all season, it is weak. I don't know their strength of schedule.
But look at the Vikings. I'm looking at their schedule right now. They play your Lions Thanksgiving, and then on a short week, they play the Falcons, the Panthers, Bengals, and then at the end they play Packers and Bears.
So they could lose 3 of those games.
You know what I mean? Like their schedule is like legit. And the teams that scored like 20 plus over them was week 3, the Niners scored 31 and they won 32-31. The following week they lost to the Dolphins 30-9, and then after that, 2 weeks later, the Steelers put up 26 points on them. After that, it's just been 17, 14, 10, 16, 16. Like Redskins put 30, but they still lost that game. And they held the Rams to 7 points last week.
Yeah, I don't.
Like so,
the
even
Eagles, the Eagles play Chicago this week at home. They should probably win that game. They go to Seattle and play Seattle, and we've already discussed Seattle about how banged up their secondary is and how they're kind of in a position of.
They're in limbo right
now. Yeah. Then they go to LA and play the Rams, and LA is kind of a home game for them, just like it was against the Chargers earlier this season. Then they play the Giants, Oakland at home, and Dallas ending the season at home. Like, you could be looking at a 14-2, 15-1 season with the remaining schedule for them. But I still wouldn't trust them in the playoffs.
Yeah, because like the other teams, they got way harder schedules. The Saints, they play the Rams, they play the Panthers, the Falcons, the Jets, the Falcons again, and then they ended off with the Buccaneers. Like these teams, people are beating teams.
According to predictionmachine.com for strength of schedule, through so far, the Eagles have the 4th easiest schedule in the NFL. The Titans have had the easiest schedule. Seattle and Los Angeles are 2 and 3 in that.
Which Los Angeles?
The Rams, but the NFC West.
Oh, you said NFC, and I didn't get that part.
The NFC West, it's the Cardinals, who have been bad, and the 49ers. So you play those 2 teams twice a year, and you're probably going to have a pretty low strength of schedule. So let's get into the AFC. Enough with bashing on the Eagles and how weak their 9-1 looks. The Chiefs have gone from Super Bowl favorite to are they going to make the playoffs? What happened? What happened, guys?
If they came down to earth, Kareem Hunt.
Like Colin Cowherd said, don't trust Alex Smith when the weather gets cold, because I mean he's been playing real sloppy.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's just that whole team. I think that whole team just kind of sputtered. I don't know what happened. I don't know when when they decided that
They peaked at the beginning of the season.
They had Alex Smith in MVP talks.
Yeah, I mean Kareem Hunt was going to just by week 4 going to be the rookie of the year, and he might not even win that anymore. I don't know where their defense went, what happened to their offense, and I'm not one to hone in on one player. Like, one player doesn't impact you that much. Like, one player might be great and the best player, like one player might be the best player in the league. But if you lose them, you should have a way to work around it, because you still have 10 guys that one player was helping. Like the Green Bay Packers, they lose Aaron Rodgers. Brett Hundley's been in the system. He knows the system. Mike McCarthy knows Brett Hundley's limitations as far as throwing the ball and running the offense. He's been doing it for 3 years now. Why aren't you adjusting? Like, and it goes like that's kind of a slight to the fact that Aaron Rodgers does the Russell Wilson type thing. Like, it doesn't matter who his receivers are. It doesn't matter what his offensive line looks like. Aaron Rodgers is going to assess the situation, slide out, and make a play. Brett Hundley doesn't have that. So you have to set up that play for him. And I think Andy Reid should realize that the offense needs to be set up into a situation to where it can succeed. And it just seems to me that entire team they lost focus.
Well, they haven't ran over 100 yards since they've been losing, right?
I don't
think so.
Right.
I mean,
like they so far, like all the games that they've lost is they haven't ran over 100 yards. I haven't seen Alex Smith throw it deep like he was occasionally.
And that's the thing is Andy Reid has to be like, all right, well, even if Alex Smith throws an interception, he needs to throw the ball deep. So pick your times. 3rd and 12. throw the ball deep. Just throw it. Like, make it a punt. Like, just say, all right, well, I'll go.
And we saw that at the beginning of the season. Like, they was rolling, and he will occasionally have those deep passes to Tyreek Hill, and he will run it down for a touchdown.
Yeah,
like
it's
you don't see that anymore.
I think that entire team just lost their focus, lost their mojo that they had in the beginning of the season. And I mean, we were kind of discussing it. I don't know if we were doing that before I hit record tonight, but the Chargers might come back and steal that division.
Yep.
Because the Chargers are the opposite end of the spectrum to the Eagles. The Chargers are 4-6, but I think that's a fake 4-6. They could easily be 7-3.
Oh yeah, with some of those.
How many were lost to a field goal?
Yeah,
3.
What happened to that kicker? Lost his job.
Shipped his ass back to Korea. No, I think that's really what they did. It's not a racist joke. He's Korean.
He had a tryout with the Bucks after the Bucks kicker missed the 7 field goals at one game, the Thursday night game against the Patriots. He went 0 for 3 and
that first round pick just gone to shit. Man,
on a kicker.
First round pick on a kicker.
But yeah, the Chargers could steal that division from the Chiefs, which is something you wouldn't have said in week 4.
And this time around, the Chargers defense is a beast. Unlike Kansas City right now, where their defense, you don't know what's going on.
It's now kind of the Eric Berry injuries now catching up to them, and they need to pull their head out of their ass. I don't know when their bye week is, if they had their bye week.
Did they have it already?
I don't remember.
I think every team should have had their bye week already.
No, I think this is the last week.
Is it? Oh.
They had their bye week in week 10, which was the one that just happened.
Yeah.
So they're coming off a bye.
No, they just lost after their bye.
Yeah, this is week 11.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy. Andy Reid was like 16-0 with the Eagles after a bye.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs fucking lost to the Giants. Like, they scored 9 points against the Giants, who didn't even play Eli Apple. Like, didn't play one of their best defensive players. And one of their starting cornerbacks. Like, what? Why? How? How does that happen?
You said Eli Apple, I was all this Eli Manning.
But now to the teams that are going to face each other in the AFC playoffs. And one of them is going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. I have very little doubt about that. The New England Patriots being one of those teams. I don't know where to begin, because it's just, you can only say so much about this team. It's that in the NBA, like it's the Golden State Warriors kind of thing, where it's like
used to them winning.
It just seems inevitable. And the Patriots are compared to the Spurs a lot because of the length of it and the number of years that it's been like this, where it's like,
well, same coach, same quarterback.
They're going to contend, and it's like no matter how bad their defense looks, their defense is still like last in yards given up. They're first in total offense. They're last in total defense as far as yards go. But in the last like 7 weeks, Colin Cowherd, I was listening to him. He was talking about Bill Belichick and how he's the greatest teacher. Like he teaches players how to play a role on the team. And it's like he was saying in the last like 7 weeks, the Patriots have given up the second least points.
Mm-hmm.
So they're giving up yards, but they're holding teams to field goals, or they're creating turnovers in the red zone, which allows Tom Brady to slice up defense. You know, he's throwing the deep ball and holding the ball a little longer than he has in years past, but for the most part, it's still throw a running back out wide and line him up against the linebacker and run an option route.
Dion Lewis.
Yeah, Rex Burkhead. He looks like the guy he was in Nebraska in college. James White is still there. It doesn't seem to matter with them who they have, what they're doing. Like they just have their way of controlling the game, and it's just they're going to outclass all these other teams in the AFC. The Chiefs are a bad matchup for the Patriots, but if the Chiefs don't pull their head out of their ass,
it's not going to matter.
I don't trust the Chiefs when it comes down to cold weather anyways, like when it's come down to playoff time.
Yeah. Like there are a couple teams that I think might be able to challenge the Patriots, and it's like the Chargers. If they can sneak into the playoffs, their defense, their pass rush, they can rush 4 guys, drop 7, which is what you have to be able to do.
Or just rush 2, just rush Ingram and Bosa
and double every offense, because Tom Brady's not going to beat you running. We know that.
Yeah, he ain't gonna run.
Like just load up, like 6 men in the box, and then rush 2, drop 4 in coverage. I'm all for that idea, because that's not something that Tom Brady would have ever seen in his career.
Well, you see, the last game they tried to double up Bosa, and Bosa was just manhandling or working around the double team. It was just, dude's an animal.
Tennessee is a team that if Marcus Mariota gets his act together, because he hasn't been very good this season. Before the season, I was saying he was going to be like he was my sleeper in fantasy football. He was going to be like,
I thought this was going to be his breakout year.
Oh yeah. We said the same thing about Jameis too.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really say it about Jameis.
No, I said it about the Bucks, not Jameis Winston.
But yeah, Marcus Mariota needs to get his act together. But they just got their first round pick, Corey Davis, back from injury. It was his first game against the Steelers. But they can run. They can run the ball. DeMarco Murray, Derrick Henry, as long as they can stick to a game plan, they have a defense that can hold up. I think but I still see the Patriots outclassing them, like being out coaching them, and that's what it comes down to with the Patriots is they're just going to outcoach whoever they're playing. But there is one team that I do have a feeling might have the Patriots number this year, because I still don't think that they've played a complete game in their 8-2, and that's the Steelers. Their defense is incredibly fast. They have fast linebackers. They have fast cornerbacks. And one of the things that if you've listened to it all week from the Steelers breakdown is they can play man coverage, which they haven't been able to do the last 3 years.
Well, they signed, what's his name, from Cleveland?
Joe Hayden.
Yeah.
But they also drafted a couple guys, and they've worked on the secondary because all they've been able to do is play zone. And you can't play zone coverage against Tom Brady and the Patriots. They're too good. They're too smart. You have to be able to break up some of their timing. You have to be able to line up man-to-man, rush for, playing man-to-man, playing a cover 2 man, like allows you to blitz. It allows you to throw different looks at Tom Brady. And I think that's to me, I think the Steelers are the favorite in the AFC. To me, I mean, I did pick them at the beginning of the year to be in the Super Bowl. I picked Falcons, Steelers in the Super Bowl. And the Steelers, I think, are still working out the kinks offensively. They haven't played. Antonio Brown's had great individual games. Le'Veon Bell's had great individual games. I think they're still getting there. Like, they haven't hit their stride offensively. And defensively, they're a top 5 defense in the league right now.
Oh, no, that's because I had the Patriots in there on my list. I think they're hitting their stride at the right time. Like, the defense finally getting their act together. Tom Brady doing Tom Brady things. Like,
yeah.
Well, with Josh McDaniels there back at offensive coordinator, like.
Well, like I said, the Patriots are still giving up a lot of yards. They're still.
Yeah, they're giving up the yards, but they're getting the key stops though.
Yeah,
they're holding you in the red zone.
Against the Steelers with the weapons that they have, they're not. I don't think giving up the yards is not going to help them. Giving up the yards is like you can't let the Steelers into the red zone with the type of offense they have, because Antonio Brown can get open anytime he wants.
I don't know.
He can. He's that Chad Johnson. He's always open.
Well, Belichick is that genius that he'll take away one of your best players.
And unlike a lot of the other teams in the AFC, the Steelers have another guy who they arguably have the best running back and the best wide receiver. So, like, take away Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster has been lighting it up, and Le'Veon Bell. You can load up Le'Veon Bell. He can carry the ball 40 times. They have the ability to run the ball in the playoffs, which you have to have the ability to do. I really want to see the Patriots and the Steelers play in the playoffs, because I think that would be a very like it could be an all-time game. I don't want to see the Patriots there because they've made 7 straight AFC Championship games, and I'm completely against dynasties in sports. Even if it was the Spurs or the Cubs or the Lions, I don't want to see a team just. It makes you lose hope. Like the NBA, like as talented as the NBA is right now, I just have little hope as far as like, oh, well, any team could win. Like, even when the Spurs were at the top of their powers, like, I knew that any team could beat them because, like, the Spurs didn't have this all-time offense. They focused on defense and controlling the ball. Like, there was always, I never felt like the Spurs were so far ahead of teams as far as talent goes. That's why I think it elevates the ranking of Tim Duncan on the all-time scale. Is unlike the Warriors, where it's like they're just out talenting people, like because they never have to have all four of their stars off the court at the same time. They can go 2-2. They can give Steph and KD a break at the same time. They still have Draymond and Clay. Like there's little hope for any team beating them in a 7-game series. And that's
they got shooters coming off the bench too.
And that's not fun to me. It's fun to watch the NBA still. It's fun to watch basketball. But it's not fun to be like, oh, well, this team might actually have a run. Like, this team could slide into the NBA Finals. No.
Well, look at the Celtics when they beat the Warriors. They held them to, under 90 points?
They can be beat in one game.
Not a series.
They're not going to be beat 7 games. Steph Curry is not going to go 3 for 14 for 4 games in the 7-game series.
I don't know that Brad Stevens.
I don't know, man. Steph Curry's a bad example, especially with the product he puts on the court in the finals.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say KD won't shoot like that, but...
Well, KD, I think, had a decent game, but yeah, he's not... And then Klay Thompson went, 5 of 18 or something like that?
Well, I don't know that Brad Stevens defense, man.
They are not as talented as the Warriors.
Oh, I know that.
But and the Warriors will also play their guys bigger minutes if they need to.
Yeah, understand that. But I'm talking about a team that actually locks it down on defense.
And plus, by that time, once we get to the finals, Gordon Hayward will be back.
We'll see.
So he's just gonna.
But unfortunately, it's gonna be Warriors Cavs again. And I know we got off topic. I just got on my dynasty rant. I don't like dynasties. That's why I don't want to see the Patriots back in the AFC Championship game. I want to see them get upset. Like I think that would be more compelling to watch the Patriots get upset. And all of the Tom Brady.
There'll be more clickbait.
Let's say dick suckers.
Jesus. Dick riders.
Right?
Damn. No, they're not even riding. They
sloppy.
They're sloppy. I'm tired of hearing that Tom Brady is the greatest human being of all time.
Just great quarterback.
He's known as the All-American boy, Captain America.
Look, he's a god. Have you seen him age?
Have you seen him age?
Have you seen his wife?
She's aged.
Oh, that's rude.
Wow.
This is rude.
Yeah.
It's very rude.
I never liked Giselle.
Uncalled for. God.
She's not even the most attractive Brazilian supermodel.
What are you talking about? Right now?
No, of all time.
What?
Isn't Adriana Lima Brazilian too?
Yep.
She's better looking than Giselle.
It's debatable. So what's you're into?
Yeah. Getting way off topic here.
We're about to start working our way back to that fashion show.
But to me, Tom Brady is a great quarterback, but he gets propped up by the fact that he has a coach who schemes the right way. Coordinators that really hone in on the little things. All of their players are held accountable. And it goes back to that Spursian comparison.
Well, him and Belichick been together for 17 years.
But the team that Tom Brady walked into, that's also kind of where I have such a bitter feeling towards the team that Brady got drafted onto. Had already been to a Super Bowl. They were on their way to another Super Bowl with Drew Bledsoe. And then Drew Bledsoe decided to slide late and got concussed. And that's when Tom Brady came in. In the 3 Super Bowls that they won in 01, 03, and 04 were by a combined, I think, 10 points. 2 last-second field goals. And I think they beat the Eagles by 4 in the T.O. broken ankle game. So, and that was all because he hasn't won a Super Bowl without like a top 5 defense.
Well, defense wins championships.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, we saw that when Seattle won it.
That goes to the point that I'm trying to say is like, people say, oh, well, he has 5 rings. He's been to seven Super Bowls. He's the greatest quarterback of all time. I say, no, he's not the greatest quarterback of all time. He's a great quarterback on a great team, in a great organization that's coached up really well.
But you can't say that so much about this last Super Bowl that they just won. That comeback was just...
Yeah. We've talked about that too. The comeback was made because they had the ball. They ran 90 plays. 90 plays in the NFL on offense is unheard of. Chip Kelly with the Eagles couldn't even get up to 90 plays. And he was known for a fast-paced offense. That's to me what it is Tom Brady is able to make all these AFC Championship games and make all these Super Bowls because he doesn't really have to do all the work. Like, go and look at his numbers in the Super Bowls. Like, yeah, he broke the record for most completions against the Seahawks, but that's because he had to. Same thing with the Falcons. That's because he had to. He had to throw the ball. And a lot of those completions went to one guy. Julian Edelman deserves the Super Bowl MVP.
But I mean, Brady. That in itself should say something because he stepped up when he had to. He made the plays when he had to.
And he's made outstanding plays. He's made the 2-minute drives to lead a team into field goal position. But
so if you're gonna take away the credit for he doesn't have to do this, you have to give the credit for what he did when he had to.
That's just in the Super Bowl saying, oh well, he did this in the Super Bowl. But as a whole, like, the team has to be good. One player is not going to take you to these records and to these games.
Well, it's not basketball. It's not like LeBron James carrying the cash.
Yeah, it takes at least 2 guys to make a play in football.
All right, so
whether it's a running back in a block or a quarterback wide out.
Let's play this game really quick. And I mean, I'm going to use probably a bad example for this game.
Probably, so you are going to use a bad example.
Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers, we can all agree, is a better quarterback than Tom Brady.
He's a better thrower of the ball.
He's a better quarterback. He can move better. He can throw the ball better. He makes more plays happen out of nothing. He analyzes defenses. Like, his statistics are better with a worse team. If you swapped Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if the Packers make the playoffs. But the Patriots are probably still going to Super Bowls.
Well, but whose fault is that?
That goes to the point that I'm trying to talk about. Like, it's not Tom Brady.
So you're telling me that the Packers with Tom Brady and Randall Cobb wouldn't make the playoffs?
Yes.
Jordy Nelson. Yes. He has good wideouts. I'd say that Aaron Rodgers has better wideouts than the Patriots.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I don't know.
The Patriots have Gronk, and then they have Edelman, Amendola.
Edelman
Brandon
is.
Cook.
I think Edelman is just as.
Still.
I think Edelman is just as good as Jordy Nelson, and I think Randall Cobb and Brandon Cooks is a wash.
But Edelman's a slot receiver. He's not a Jordy Nelson.
No, they line him up outside. Danny Amendola is their slot receiver, and that's the scheme that they run. Is they're pretty much all slot receivers. Like, the only time that
I felt like Brady has won championships with less because the receivers that he had when they won those early championships.
But offensively, when they won those championships, it wasn't Tom Brady.
His only real standout wideout that he had was Randy Moss.
Yeah, and they lost. and they broke offensive records. That was like his tremendous offensive season. But after that, his offensive numbers have dipped back down a little bit.
And even still, like, if Tom Brady had Randall Cobb as one of his receivers, he'd probably be his second best receiver.
Tom Brady has made mediocre receivers look real good.
Look at Edelman and Amendola.
Well, but see, to me,
Chris Hogan.
To me, a lot of it goes to the system. A lot of it goes to the system because you can make a bad quarterback look okay. Like, you can win games with a bad quarterback because you put him in positions to succeed. And Tom Brady is, again, a great quarterback.
Well, we could say the same thing about basketball. The Spurs and their system. Look at like players like DeJuan Blair and Tiago Splitter.
Yeah,
Boris Diaw,
George Hill, and Jonathan Simmons isn't as bad on the Magic as I thought he was going to be. I thought he was a decent NBA player, but he's still.
He's probably the best player that's gotten away.
Yeah.
But Gary Neal looked like a.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When they was on the Spurs, they looked real good because of the system. They go away to get their contracts, and then now
it didn't have anything to do with the fact that they were playing with Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and Tim Duncan, did it?
Oh, because they were coming off the bench.
But you play the bench
Manu
with
was
the
coming
starters.
off the bench too.
It was set up to where you're playing with Hall of Famers.
But I'm saying it's the system.
Yeah, but it comes down to the system.
That's what I'm saying with Tom Brady too. Is that it's this? I think it's more the system that the Patriots have.
But the thing about that is someone still has to put the ball in the hand.
Yes, the player still has to make the plays.
It comes down to the placement.
He still has to make the throws. He still has to make the touchdowns. You know what I mean? Move the ball, move the chain. Like, put them in the field goal position.
Again,
he still has to do that.
I'm still saying he's a great quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback.
I'd say Aaron Rodgers can throw the ball better, but I don't think I wouldn't say he's the better quarterback. Because I think you can't just put everything else to the side aside from passing the ball. Aaron Rodgers can throw the ball. He could run the ball. But it's just the little things like
what little things has Aaron Rodgers ever shown you that he can't do?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Aaron Rodgers
it's not the fact that he can't do it,
but that's what, like, I don't know.
I think Tom Brady would be the better leader. He's a better captain than Rodgers. And that comes down to the position.
Tom
that
Brady
quarterback position is a natural captain.
Tom Brady is a great leader. He's a better leader than Peyton Manning. I will give him that. But given just basing it off of being a quarterback and going into what they do, I think Tom Brady has been given a lot of help, and it's kind of why the reason why Aaron Rodgers is the Aaron Rodgers we see today is because he sat 3 years, learned the system behind Brett Favre, and he kind of learned how to do it. Tom Brady was kind of thrown into it his second season.
He was thrown into the fire. It was like, we need you to win this game.
But he was thrown onto a better team than Aaron Rodgers was. In that his numbers weren't fantastic in his first few years. 18 touchdowns. He didn't throw for 30 touchdowns until that 18-1 season when he threw for 50.
The 18 and Giants.
And since then, he has thrown for 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other times. 5 times in 10 seasons, he's thrown more than 30 touchdowns.
All right, but for a great quarterback, you're looking like, what, 24 to 30 touchdowns a year, right?
I would say 30 is 30.
To make a great.
And on top of that, you have to look at his age and what he's doing at that age.
Yeah, he's playing incredible at this age, and he's like this is a revolutionary kind of year for him. That he's kind of just defying a lot of things. But I still think that if you take the whole. Like, if you take the whole, including the team he plays for, and the coach he plays for.
Well, I never want to put it that it's the system that's making the player great when he is a great player, because he's making the plays out on the field on crunch time.
I'm saying he's a great quarterback.
No, I know that, but I'm saying put Aaron Rodgers in Cleveland, the Cleveland Browns, where they got no system right now. Is he going to make them a playoff team?
He would make them 8-8.
I don't think so.
He would make them 8-8.
It's a bunch of Hail Marys.
Because, well, no, you don't. But see, that's the thing it goes same thing for Tom Brady too. Because I think they can make throws that you don't think are there. But for Aaron Rodgers, he can. A lot of the Green Bay offense is on busted plays. A lot of it. It's not called plays.
Bootlegs and scrambles and all that. It's not
planned. All of the Patriots offense is a called play. Is a called pass. This is the route. These are the routes we're gonna run. Go through your progressions, and then if it's not there and you're not sacked, throw the ball away. And it's very scripted and it's very precise. The Packers offense with Aaron Rodgers is here are the routes we're going to run, but just in case, let's practice this stuff. And they practice hard on those breakdowns where Aaron Rodgers has to, like, they can't get open, and so now Aaron Rodgers is scrambling, and that's when they make big plays. Like, very few, I would say half of their offense with Aaron Rodgers is on busted plays.
Well, I think a great system makes a great team, but you still need to have that player to go out and make the plays. That's what I don't want to put it, because that's the argument that people use against Russell Westbrook, saying that he's not a great quarterback because the system that he's in. Wilson, yeah, I said Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook too.
Yeah,
he's not a great quarterback.
No, not really.
But Russell Wilson, they're saying that he's not great because of the system that he plays for and the defense that he has. Why are you going to put that against him? He's going out there making the plays.
He's not a good quarterback because he has no offensive line in front of him.
But see,
look at the plays that he's making.
Yeah,
earlier in his career, and by earlier he's only in his sixth season. But like two or 3 years ago, really before the start of last season, I'm in the boat of Russell Wilson is not a great quarterback. He's not. Statistically, he's not. When they won the Super Bowl, he was 16th in yards, he was 15th in touchdowns, and I believe he was 14th in QB rating. They were carried by Marshawn Lynch in the defense. And to me, the same thing goes with early Tom Brady and the Patriots. Tom Brady didn't need to be great. He didn't need to be the greatest quarterback of all time. And I mean, he's not. And I just think that he is aided by all of these factors that go into winning football games. To me, a quarterback like Drew Brees, who hasn't made the playoffs in 3 years. Drew Brees is an all-time great quarterback, but he wasn't given a defense. So
he also wasn't given the size.
He wasn't given the size either. But he wasn't given a defense. And even he couldn't outscore teams because even when they scored 45, they gave up 52.
It was like playing Michael Vick. You're not going to beat him. You just got to outscore him.
But I'm saying I don't want to hold that against him just because he has a great defense and a great system. That's all I'm saying.
But to me,
he lost his defense.
I don't know how if we're gonna judge on the whole and judge a quarterback like Dak Prescott went 13-3 as a rookie, not because he's a great quarterback, but because Zeke Elliott ran for 1,600 yards and led the league in rushing, and they controlled the clock. He didn't turn the ball over. And the defense didn't look terrible.
No, that defense looked terrible.
Last year?
Last year's defense, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Great.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't
really
great.
Good.
But that's the thing is they won. They went 13-3, not because they had a great quarterback, but because they had things that worked. And that's why I say I think Tom Brady's just given too much credit for being on that team. I think because he's Tom Brady and he was a 6th round pick and he is, all-American boy who only cares, and I hate doing it every time I do it, but he is the Tim Duncan of the NFL, where he takes less of a paycheck. He goes to work early. He cares about his teammates.
First one in, last one out.
Yeah, he works hard on his craft and to be the best he can. He does all of those things. But in the end, I think that in football more than almost any sport, I think the only sport more so is baseball. But both of those sports, it's a full team collective. The one Super Bowl that the Packers won and Aaron Rodgers won, they were 31st in defense. They were the second worst defense in the league, and they had 16 guys on the IR. And Aaron Rodgers willed that team to a victory over the Steelers. But it goes to a collective that, yes, Tom Brady can be the best quarterback of all time, and he can make the throw on that 5-yard slant to Julian Edelman, and if in an alternate dimension he doesn't catch the ball and run 50 yards with it and he drops it, we might be looking at a Patriots team that has only been to 2 AFC Championship games with Tom Brady. Like we've talked about it. Like, he has to be able to put the players in position, but those players have to also, in return, put Tom Brady in a position. And it's a complete team effort. And I think why I demote Tom Brady as far as greatness goes is the same reason there's a lot of NBA fans who demote Tim Duncan as far as greatness goes. And it's because the system that he plays on and the team and the coach that he has and all of that to go around it allow him to thrive.
But people still say Tim Duncan is the greatest power forward that played the game.
But greatest power forward isn't, I think, the same. It's not the same conversation as the greatest quarterback. Because it's one, who are you labeling as a power forward? And then you can run up numbers. And not some people do say that Tim Duncan isn't the greatest of all time as far as power forward positions. People have Karl Malone above him. Like, people have Kevin McHale above him as far as power forwards go. Like, there's just the consensus is that he's the greatest power forward of all time.
Not even Kevin McHale has him over Tim Duncan.
And that's a Boston pick.
But I'm saying there are people who say that. But to me, statistics prove otherwise that he is. And to me, statistics outside of championship rings, statistics prove otherwise that Tom Brady isn't the greatest quarterback of all time.
All right. Quick question before we run so long on this topic already. So, Brady and Belichick, they've been together 17 years. How long has Rodgers and McCarthy been together? Roughly around the same, right?
14.
All right. And they've been essentially in the same head coach, same system.
McCarthy is not even close to the stratosphere of Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick is top 4 football coaches of all time.
Where Brady's lacked in wideouts, Aaron Rodgers lacked in coaching.
All right.
In defense.
That's where it washes.
In defense.
How come, if Aaron Rodgers is so great, how come the Packers are not like the Patriots in
defense? The Packers have not had a good defense.
But they got Clay Matthews.
But they got Aaron Rodgers.
No matter how great a quarterback is, like, Peyton Manning to me is the greatest quarterback of all time. The 1 year he won, or the 2 years he won a Super Bowl, Denver Broncos defense, and that defense for the 2006 Colts showed up.
So you're not going to hold that against Peyton Manning like you do with Tom Brady?
What, the fact that...
The defense and the system?
Those were the 2 years that he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But I'm putting everything into a whole, into a vacuum, looking at each season. Like, I don't judge a player based off the championship rings he won. That's why, to me,
but even
LeBron doesn't need to get to 6 to surpass Jordan.
That Peyton Colts team was always good. He always had a good team around him. And Tony Dungy
again doesn't hold a candle in the wind against Bill Belichick.
But it was always Peyton Manning and
Marvin
Tom
Harrison,
Brady.
Reggie Wayne,
Dallas Clark.
Dallas Clark isn't as good as Gronk.
But I'm
Marvin
saying
Harrison or Reggie Wayne isn't as good as Moss in that 1 year that Tom Brady actually had a great offensive season.
But what was Peyton Manning's Achilles heel in the AFC before they won
the Patriots?
Exactly, right?
The Patriots defense.
But that's what I'm saying. There was always in it.
Right.
In the AFC Championship. Packers are hardly ever in the NFC Championship.
And see, you're going back to the Rodgers thing and judging Rodgers and Brady. Like,
because that's where it stemmed from.
Right. But, like, that's... Using the 3 quarterbacks right there, Peyton, Tom, and Aaron, like, I think that creates a good triangle of what team and what system, and, like, statistically, Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning are better than Tom Brady.
So if you were to we'll switch Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, the Colts team, you don't think Tom Brady could get past the Patriots?
No.
If he was on the Colts team that Peyton Manning won it with? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Oh, no. So the one that Peyton Manning won it with, Tom Brady would probably win it with. Again, it goes to the fact that in order for Peyton Manning to win that Super Bowl, they had to beat the Patriots, and the reason they beat the Patriots is because they stopped them on 4th and 1. The defense stopped the Patriots on 4th and 1. It wasn't because Peyton Manning outshined the Patriots. He played a good game. He didn't stink the bed like he had done before,
But in this situation, you could put you can't bring it down to one play because that 4-1. Like you put yourself in that situation.
I was using that as an example.
Yeah,
I was saying because of that defense that year is the reason they made the Super Bowl. It has nothing to do with the quarterback play. I mean, it has stuff to do with the quarterback play, but if your defense can't get crucial stops like the Patriots defense has, or if your kicker can't kick a field goal, or if all these other things that happen in an NFL game, if that doesn't happen, you're not going to be able to put your quarterback into a position to win.
See, my thing is not... if you want to say Aaron Rodgers is better than Tom Brady, like, I'm cool with that. Like, so my thing is, like, I don't want to take away his greatness just because he's been in the system.
Going.
That's like what Kawhi... Oh, that's what Durant said about Kawhi.
Yeah, it's because of the system that he's in.
Yeah, but the system has changed for the Spurs now. Because Kawhi became a great player, because Kawhi hasn't been a great player his entire career. He started becoming great after that finals. But he's now hitting that top 5 player in the league status. Like, he wasn't a top 5 player 2 years ago. So that's, like, he was a system player when Kevin Durant said it, because he needed to be. He hadn't developed the offensive game. Now you can put Kawhi in any system and he'd be fine. Then, no, couldn't. So now if he was to say Kawhi's a system player, then he'd be blowing smoke. But when he said it, he wasn't. He was right. And I think the system has a lot to do with how to make good players great and great players all-timers. Drew Brees, again, like I said, all-time great player, but I don't think he gets to all-time great if he doesn't play for Sean Payton. If he stays with San Diego, I don't think he gets to all-time great.
He was already a great.
But that's why I'm saying, like, it takes, the coach and the team and the scheme takes you up a level. Like, your talent can only take you so far, but being around other players and other things, like, that helps. It not only do you help elevate them, but they help elevate you. And to your point about Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, it's pretty well researched, actually. I have the book out on my bookshelf. It's called Brady versus Manning. Manning versus Brady, whichever one. And it was a guy following the careers of both quarterbacks. Tom Brady, again, is the quintessential leader. He sacrificed to help the team win. He goes to quarterback meetings, listens to the quarterback coach. He listens to the offensive coordinator. He doesn't bark at them. He doesn't do anything. He's literally just following the lead of the people that lead him. And I mean, it's when I read this and I learned about it, I was disappointed. I mean, I knew that, like, it's joked about Peyton Manning was the coach and was the offensive coordinator for the Colts, but like in this book, it's detailed that he was kind of a dictator about it. He was a dictator about the offense. He wanted the offense had to be run a certain way and had to be done a certain way, and he was a great leader still because he's having receivers go to his home in Nashville. They're going to Duke University and practicing timing routes, and he's working with the receivers, and he's trying to make people better and doing all the leadership roles. But in the end, it was always him telling the offensive coordinators what plays to call, and then you've seen it for many years, him walk up to the line, him take down until 2 seconds on the play clock to audible to read the defense, and he overthought everything.
Well, they literally had 3 plays called when they break the huddle.
Yeah.
These are the 3 plays that we're going to choose from, so when we get to the line, I can shift it to one of these 3 plays.
Tom Brady, I think maybe now he has that. Early in his career, he didn't. And Tom Brady, I think, is more and more has been able to adjust and read the like he's uncanny at reading the defense and making the crucial plays. And Peyton Manning never was able to make the crucial plays. So in that sense, like as a 2-minute quarterback, Tom Brady's the greatest 2-minute quarterback of all time. I just feel still that there are things that are in his favor, in the sense that he was given the luxury of playing for a team like this, which helped elevate that great to all-time great status. And I know we talked way too long on that. I hopped up on my high horse. I'm very, very passionate about my Peyton Manning is greater than Tom Brady. Very, very passionate about that. And it goes to the Jordan LeBron. Oh, 6 rings. Like, I don't fucking care about rings, alright? I don't care that he's won 5 Super Bowls. It's a team sport. Like, yes, the 6 rings is a better argument in NBA basketball because he's one of 5 guys on the court. But it's still, like, to me, the Super Bowl championship thing, Terry Bradshaw is not a better quarterback than Peyton Manning. Roger Staubach, not a greater quarterback. Troy Aikman, not a greater quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger, Eli Manning, like you can go down,
Uncle Rico
down the list. Not a greater quarterback.
Arguable.
But I wanted to talk a little Kyrie, and it would have gone into the same thing that we just went on Tom Brady, because I would start cutting up Kyrie, and Alvin would defend Kyrie.
I probably wouldn't actually defend Kyrie. I don't put him as one of the top point guards in the league.
I thought we had this discussion earlier in this, like just a couple months ago, and we were talking about the trade.
Top 5.
We were talking about the trade, and you were hyping like Kyrie and how bad of a trade it was for Cleveland.
Yeah, because he was another, like, dominant scorer on that team that relieved pressure off of LeBron James.
And Isaiah Thomas is not back. That's another topic.
We gotta see how Isaiah Thomas is going
another day. So let's really get wrapped up with the weekly hot not slop top, and then finish it up with some bold predictions.
What was it called? The sloppy toppy what?
Sloppy toppy.
Sloppy toppy floppy. And so I'm going to start it off. My winner of last week is Minnesota Vikings. That team, they held that offense to 7 points. They are 2 games up in their division. They have a pivotal game Thanksgiving Day against the Lions. The only thing that made me hesitant to put them here is the story that at any time when Case Keenum falters, they're going to immediately go to Teddy Bridgewater. If they do that, they will immediately go to my not that week. But as for this last week, they have to be my hot pick. Andrew, your hot pick.
Shoot, my hot pick. I just put it to the NBA. Really, I was like, they keep putting a good product on the court, on and off. It's just entertaining. It's the middle of football season, but you can't stop talking about basketball at the same time.
Yeah,
you got Joel Embiid. Just
it goes to the point
throwing everything out there.
Kinda, when we were talking the conferences, and it's like, man, the AFC sucks.
Yeah.
And the NFC, they have a few teams, but like, it's from week to week. It can be ugly football games and blowouts, and it's just...
It could be a whole bad week of football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't get a whole bad week of basketball.
No.
You always get something bad.
I mean, I have this argument with my brother that the NBA is the most talented it's ever been. Player wise, the talent that's being put out onto the court, players are just better basketball players. They're just, I mean, they might not mesh on the court as well as other teams, so they might not be as good defensively, and there's some like just brutal games. But it's still like you can watch a Suns game and still be entertained, because now you're watching a game that's like 135 to 130, and Devin Booker just went off for 45.
Didn't Houston just put up 90 and a half?
Yeah, like, yeah. and while the basketball purist in me like hates seeing that, and it doesn't look it. I still want a competitive product. Like,
it's fun to watch.
The offensive.
It's fun to watch, but you don't want to see an ugly game like the Rockets putting up 90 in the first half.
But like watching, like
I like watching that.
You can pretty much pick any team in the NBA, and there's a player that you would love to watch, and just might go off for just a ridiculous stat line. And yeah, the NBA is in a great position.
I mean, you got everything. You got the unicorn,
action, adventure, comedy, rom-com.
Rachel Nichols did that on the jump. She did the unicorn thing, and she's talking about all the different kinds of unicorns there are in the NBA. because the reason Kristaps is called a unicorn is because he's 7'3" and shoots threes and blocks shots and does all these things.
Put back dunks.
The Greek freak. Jokic in Denver. They're
Lonzo in LA.
No,
triple double.
No. Let's
sorry.
Pump the brakes.
He got a triple double again.
All right, now we need to get off the NBA. Alvin, what's your hot?
The only person you can root for on the Lakers is Luke Walton.
Way to kill it. My hot for the week is going back to the U, because we got the number 2.
Oh my God!
What's that for? We got the number 2. We back.
Did you see the Oregon turnover chain?
Imitators, bro. Like, they're always gonna be imitators. It looked trash.
It was garbage.
It looked trash.
It looked like a bike lock.
It looked so trash. I was just like, Can you make up your own thing? Why you gotta piggyback off of us and try to?
Hey, why does everybody have to make cool uniforms? All right.
Hey, Oregon has
it's not their fault. Cool they fell into a good state where Nike makes everything.
Or the fact that Nike was put there because Phil Knight is a University of Oregon alum.
Hey, you know what? You can't hit on Phil Knight though.
Stats are stats.
They're actually doing a college basketball tournament called PK80. It's dedicated to Phil Knight, where all the teams that are in it wear Nike uniforms.
Hell yeah!
But
want to get invited? Better get that swoosh.
But it wasn't a good game at first, against Virginia, I was scared. I thought I was going to be upset. But again, the defense stepped up.
Jaquan Johnson.
That dude.
That's racist, man.
Just because his name is Jaquan.
Right. But, I mean, he's showing to be the leader of that defense. Yeah. And he made the play when we needed it most. And then we scored 30 unanswered points, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. They just
off of his play.
And then like Homer, the running back, made crucial plays. Rozier, their quarterback, made some pretty crucial plays, and their defense just was like, all right, no more.
Yeah, our defense was giving up like big plays after big plays. Like I think that quarterback had like 4 touchdowns in the first half.
And I love the name. It's I think Kirk Van Kirk.
Yeah, something like that. he should be playing soccer or something.
He sounds like he needs to be in a sci-fi show or like a 1990s teen sitcom.
Sounds like he belongs like on a rowing team.
But go transition from your hot to your not. Who you got?
My not. So Buffalo Bills, man, that putting in that
boom, mine too. Mine too.
Putting in that rookie quarterback against that Peterman. Defense. Against that defense, why would you put him in the Lions den?
Well, and why would you bench a quarterback who isn't playing bad? Like it's not your fault that your team's getting blown out. Maybe replace people on your defense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Talk to your defense. Like your quarterback is not the reason why. What, it was 50 points that they got put on?
Yeah. It might have been like 47.
Yeah.
They got 294 rushing yards by the Saints.
That's what I'm saying. And the Saints didn't even score a passing touchdown that game. It was all rushing.
Drew Brees had 1 touchdown and he ran it in.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and then you're going to put the rookie in against, you already know the Chargers defense, they
get out the quarterback.
How many times did Bosa got to that kid? Like,
it was too many for.
He was trying to like save his life by throwing the ball out super quick, and it was just like pop ups and.
Yeah, it was not. That was a terrible decision, and that's why I put them as my not as well, because Tyrod Taylor might not be a great quarterback. It goes to the same thing that you need to make a system around the quarterback's strengths and weaknesses. You need to understand, hey, maybe we should try to run the ball more, or these are plays that we need to do. Hey, maybe we should have kept Robert Woods and Sammy Watkins.
They got no receivers now.
Kelvin Benjamin got hurt. Yeah, they traded for Kelvin Benjamin because they needed to replace Sammy Watkins because they traded him before the season.
Well, you get rid of your receivers and you're not giving LaShawn McCoy the ball either. Like, but let's blame it on your quarterback and let's throw in the rookie.
Well, Nick Wright went off on it.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
You saw that? He went off on the whole black quarterbacks and how quick the hook is for them, and so I was like, well, yeah, like I feel the same way. Like Vince Young, RG3, Colin Kaepernick. I mean, the list goes on as far as black quarterbacks who aren't even bad. Like, RG3 had some injury issues, but his rookie season, won Rookie of the Year, won the division, was beating the team that ended up winning the Super Bowl that year.
Oh, yeah, there was all like, the Colts probably should have drafted RG3 instead of Andrew Luck. Like.
Yeah, like, he was playing fantastic football, and he had some injury issues. But
couldn't get out of his way after that.
Vince Young, I don't think he really ever had a losing season. He got hurt and lost his job to a 37-year-old white guy, Kerry Collins.
Yeah.
And then he went suicidal and...
Yeah, and then he was out of the league because no team would give him a chance, citing that he was, like, just saying that he wasn't good enough. But
well, I think it was also Coach Fisher's fault, too. Like...
Yeah, and look at what he has done. He did with Jared Goff his rookie season. He just said, "No, we're not. We're going to play Case Keenum," and Case Keenum didn't look very good. Like Case Keenum is a completely different Vikings quarterback than a Rams quarterback.
Did you hear the Bills coach? He it was all like, wasn't totally like blaming the rookie quarterback for like those interceptions. I was like, bro. I was like, how are you going to give him so much leeway? But then you're ready to hook Tyrod Taylor like
he threw more interceptions than Tyrod Taylor has this entire season in 1/2.
I got a message from Bleacher Report. It was all like, Peterman threw for his 5th touchdown in the first half. Please make it stop.
Interception, not touchdown.
Yeah, I was like, what is this?
That would have been a bold prediction.
Andrew, since me and Alvin are on the Bills wagon, who you have as your not?
I've got Mr. Jerry Jones. Can you please just focus on your team / coaching staff?
Oh, I thought you were
instead of focusing all your attention on the commissioner.
Well, I thought you was going to talk about the leaked video.
Let me chime in really quick on my thought on Jerry Jones, because Jerry Jones is always pushing the boundaries on this not pick. He doesn't do the same stuff for the Cowboys as he used to. Stephen Jones is probably who you need to focus on, because Stephen Jones...
He's the football mind.
He makes the personnel decisions now more than Jerry Jones does. Jerry Jones definitely has say in it because he is the majority.
But that Jerry job Jones. Title still says owner, president, and general manager. So when your name has that title, your name gets
I just want to say that the coaching staff and personnel and all that is more on Stephen Jones than Jerry Jones. But yes, Jerry Jones needs to step in this time and get with his son and get on the ball.
I honestly think Stephen Jones would have probably put in a different head coach instead of Jason Garrett. But I think Jerry Jones is like so all about Jason Garrett that I don't even think I don't even think Stephen Jones tries to fight his dad on that.
No, that's just.
But like the draft picks recently and all this stuff, like that's all been Stephen Jones.
If the Cowboys lose out, Jason Garrett's fired.
He got to be gone, man.
I think you finish 8-8, you're out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, even like, I don't know about 8-8 because that's what they're 5-5 now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going 3-3 down the road. So that's saying let's just say you lose the 3 without Zeke, you win the 3 with Zeke.
I still think he should have been gone like a couple years ago.
Oh yeah.
I don't know because I don't know. He did a great job last season, but again, that goes. Everything went right last season.
Yeah.
And he hasn't shown that he can make the minor adjustments that he needs to make, and he hasn't made them in the few playoff games that they've made.
Exactly.
And yeah, I mean Jerry Jones is always on that, and that he's always pushing the door. He's like peeking in. Hey, what do I need to do to make it onto your not pick?
You gotta get more pictures out there.
Do I need to do I need to actually like
make another rap commercial with Papa John?
Who do I need to sue this time? Come on, who do I need to sue?
Look, you tell me to bring a 6-pack or something other than Lone Star, and you pull out another Lone Star.
I don't do IPAs. I can't do them. You're the one that brought an IPA.
Jesus.
But you'll have beer here going forward because I'm not going to touch that shit. I will drink the Lone Star because it's as crappy as I think it is. It's still more. It doesn't fuck with my allergies like IPAs do.
Oh, I didn't know it was like that with you and IPAs.
Yeah, allergies, the different kind of hops in them. But going from not, what is on the docket for our lock of the week? How bold are we getting? Are we getting Doritos bold? Nacho cheesy?
They got them bold.
I think mine is nacho cheesy.
All right, Alvin, go first.
I say the Wolverines upset Ohio State.
Talking football or basketball?
College football. The only sport that matters in that rivalry.
Like, I think it's going to happen.
It's in the big house, right? It's not in the shoe.
No, it's in the big house this time around.
Yeah, I mean
even though they got stomped on by Wisconsin this past week.
Wisconsin's good.
Yeah,
and Wisconsin's a tough team to play. And the strength of Ohio State's offense, I think, is
it's iffy. It's because Barrett, like
JT Barrett.
What kind of Barrett?
Well, they're running back Dobbins. That dude is going to be a monster.
Oh,
I think he's a redshirt freshman. He's going to be a monster.
But I'm all like, look at the teams that Michigan lost to. Like, they lost to legit teams.
Yeah, and Ohio State's a legit team, and I mean, it's a rivalry game. Anything can happen, and so we'll see how that one goes. I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan beat them. When we talked college football earlier this year, I put Michigan in my preseason Final Four because I thought they could win the Big Ten. I thought they're coached well enough with Harbaugh, and the talent is there because of the recruiting that he gets. So I wouldn't be surprised. Andrew, Tecate bowled it up.
I got a Cowboys bounce back win behind 3 Dak Prescott touchdowns.
Oh, okay. No picks? No interceptions?
How many did he have? He had like 4, right?
Nah, he'll throw 1 interception, but those 3 touchdowns.
I mean, it's against a good Chargers team. We've been talking about them all night. Like,
they got no Tyron Smith. Is he gonna be back for this game? I don't think so.
I don't know.
To me, it shouldn't matter if he's back or not because you hope and pray that they go and they look at that film and they look at Dak Prescott under pressure throwing passes that he probably shouldn't have. Be like, hey, this left tackle, that Tyron Smith guy who's usually here, well, he's not Tyron Smith, and he's getting blown apart.
Oh, yeah. Let's line up Bosa over there.
Let's maybe shift some things around. Let's get a tight end over there. Like,
run some hot routes. Please. Three-step drop. Give me that.
One of the things that makes the Patriots scary offensively a lot of times is because they can run plays out of a 2 tight end set. It was one of the reasons why they loved having Aaron Hernandez and Gronkowski.
Before he was killing people?
Before he was... Well, I guess it was during. Yeah, it was but like Martellus Bennett. Like running that 2 tight end, like having 2 tight ends.
Well, that's why they signed Dwayne Allen.
Yeah, and then he screwed up, and then the Martellus Bennett bullshit. But run a 2 tight end set. You don't need 4 receivers out there.
Who's our other tight end? I don't even...
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I don't even know.
There's that goes onto the personnel.
But you notice that Jason Witten hasn't been involved in anything.
Well, they haven't offensively. They've been possibly the worst offense in the league the last 2 weeks.
But when Romo was there, and
they scored a total of 16 points in 2 weeks.
When Romo was there, who was his safety blanket? Jason Witten.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the same thing with Dak Prescott. He uses Jason Witten a lot as the safety blanket, and Cole Beasley.
Yeah, but they haven't been involved at all in these
that goes to what I'm saying is you have to scheme it up. Left tackle's a problem. Dak Prescott's not given time. Receivers aren't getting open. Adjust. Change something. There are things that you can do. Throw more back shoulder routes to Dez, because Dez on the back shoulder, he's one of the best in the leagues at that route. Just kind of pushing upfield, thinking he's gonna go deep, and you're gonna throw a deep ball to him and just throw it right behind him.
Make him come back.
Come back. Throw more of those, and that opens up that go route because now he can run a hitch and go. And there's so many ways that the Cowboys can fix things, and against the Chargers, they might have a chance to fix things because sometimes the Chargers' offense sputters. And to finish up the week, I'm going with a Thanksgiving Day game as well.
Lions.
The Lions are beating the Vikings.
As soon as you said Thanksgiving Day.
It's a crucial game, and the Lions kind of have to win this game if they have any playoff hope. So, in the spirit of the fact that it's a home game, it's a Thanksgiving Day game, they're in kind of a must-win situation against the team that's above them in the division.
Is this the first time that they're not playing the Packers on Thanksgiving?
No, they used to play the Cowboys, and they've played a few other teams. They played the Bears last season, I think, and 2 seasons ago was the Hail Mary game with the Packers. It lines up to me that the Lions can beat the Vikings. They've already beat them once.
That was that 14-7 game.
Their defense has been pretty good all season. They've been creating turnovers. Really, the one thing that holds them back is their offense. I feel like and I understand it, that they honed in Matt Stafford on his slinging the ball around, his Brett Favre, just trait that he has, where he likes to throw the ball deep and he likes to just trust his arm that he'll get it there. And they've cut down his interceptions, but it also constricts the offense in a hole. But they have a healthy receiving core that goes 4 deep, with their 4th being a streaky kind of receiver, TJ Jones, Kenny Galladay being back. Golden Tate is the yak master. Marvin Jones has played consistent all season. If they can get Amir Abdullah,
I was just about to say, if y'all had a solid running game, I think it would be a different story.
If they can get Amir Abdullah and Theo Riddick into some matchups that they like, get them the ball, get them on the outside, get their playmakers some space, this game might be 14-7 like the first one. But I think the Lions, with all that goes into it, and the fact that you lose this game, you're 3 games out of the division, so you have to win a wild card pretty much, because you'll have 5 games left to make up 3, and that'll be hard. So Lions, I think we'll pull it out. Might be ugly. I don't care. They just got to get that W. With that, I know I talked way too much about Tom Brady and how much I hate him. I'm very out front about that. Out in the open, I'll talk to anybody who will listen to me rant about him. I look forward to the Thanksgiving football. I always do. Thanksgiving is a big holiday for me. And so we'll be back next week, and hopefully I will have uploaded all of the podcasts that I've been slacking on, and we'll record next week, and we're going to do a new segment. So I hope y'all tune into that. As always, I'm Casey Coggins, here with Alvin Heber.
Happy Turkey Day.
And Andrew Lara.
See y'all.
We'll see you next week.